Hey, Tiffany, are you there? I just wanted to make sure that you were ready for the wedding. You do know that you have to follow the plan exactly how I laid it out for you, right? I don't want to see even a single misstep from you. I mean it. If anything goes wrong at the wedding, it is all going to be on you, understand?
Carmen, please. As my mother-in-law, I'm asking to please just let me not go to the wedding. I mean, I'm not even any kind of wedding planner. You just came up to me one day and started listing off things you'd like to see at the wedding.
Well, what is even the point of having you around if you can't do something as simple as plan a wedding? Maybe if you talked less and listened more, you wouldn't be having this problem. Now, I told you exactly how I wanted this wedding to go. It is your job to make sure that that dream comes true and that it's perfect down to the last detail.
Carmen, I get that you want all this, but it's Lucy's wedding, and she hasn't mentioned anything about this to me.
Oh, so you're saying that you don't care if you totally ruin Lucy's wedding, all because she didn't tell you what she wanted?
Of course that's not what I'm saying, but I am literally 8 months pregnant. I am pretty much ready to pop. If anything happens, if I were to end up having this baby early, I wouldn't be able to help at all. Besides, I really would like to be able to concentrate more on this as it is my first child. And with all that in mind, I just really don't think that I should be at Lucy's wedding at all.
You really are such a worrywart. Do you know that? What does any of this wedding business have to do with your baby? Take it from me, someone who has had kids and raised them too. You need to be keeping your body fit while you're pregnant. Or at least give yourself something to do and concentrate on. That's why you have to make sure Lucy's wedding is perfect. And if I hear even a single grumble or gripe from any of the guests, you will be hearing about it.
So you're really just going to use me to do all this hard work that you don't do?
What else is a daughter-in-law for? I'm the mother-in-law, and that means that what I say goes, got it?
Please, Carmen, I'll give you some money to help pay for the preparations if you'll just let me rest and focus on the baby.
You really are just pathetic, do you know that? You are going to be there at the wedding, and that is that. You useless, stupid woman. How could you miss Lucy's wedding? What is the matter with you? Do you know how embarrassing it was for me to have to explain why you weren't there?
I already told you about this, Carmen. I'm going to be giving birth any day now, and I wasn't going to the wedding in the first place.
Well, I know you said that, but I didn't think that you actually meant it. But whatever, I suppose there really is no going back on any of this now.
And just what is that supposed to mean?
Well, I mean that if you're really going to miss my daughter's wedding, all because of your pregnancy, then I just really don't think that I have any more use for you. And that's why I was sent off the divorce papers for you and my son. Now I want you to pack your bags and leave this house right now.
You mean you really submitted the paperwork for Tom and I to get a divorce?
That's right. What else do you think I meant by that? But you only have yourself to blame. I have no idea what my son was thinking about getting with you.
I don't believe it. How could you do this? Well, whatever. I'll just go to the courthouse tomorrow and explain the mistake to them.
It's too late. Those papers have already been long processed. There's nothing you can do about this now.
Well, I am just going to see about that, because I don't remember putting my signature on any kind of divorce papers.
I tried to warn you. I told you time and time again not to miss that wedding, didn't I? But thanks to you, I was the one left in charge of things. And let's just say the wedding was not what I had pictured when I gave you my specifications. But I guess it worked for what it was.
I don't get it, Carmen. Do you really not care at all what happens to your grandchild that I'm carrying right now?
Of course I'm not worried. What could possibly happen? You watch way too many soap operas, but until you learn to behave yourself, you are banned from this house. Now pack up your bags and never ever come back here again. If you'll excuse me, I have some dinner plans to attend, but I want you out of the house before I get back.
Hey, Tiffany. How's it going? I'm just about to head back home. Just let me know if you want me to pick up anything on my way back.
Thanks so much for asking after me, Owen. But aren't you going to that dinner with your wife?
What? That thing? Nah, I wasn't going to go to that. Besides, an after party for a wedding really isn't for parents to be going to.
Oh, really? But Carmen told me that she was going to be going. That's why I thought you were too.
Yeah, well, I guess she had something upsetting her about the wedding today. She said she was going to go and try and brighten her mood. But we'll see how that goes when she's surrounded by women half her age.
Oh, I see. Well, I just want to let you know that I'm sorry I missed the wedding today.
That's okay. You have nothing to apologize for.
I just think that I'm the reason why Carmen is so upset, because I didn't go to the wedding.
I don't understand. Did my wife say something to you that made you think that?
Yeah, she told me that I was an awful person for missing the wedding, and that she wanted me to move out.
She really said that to you? I am so sorry about that, Tiffany.
No, you don't have anything to apologize for either. It's not like any of this was your fault either.
I know. But what was she thinking acting like that? I mean, can't she see that you're pregnant? You've got more important things to worry about. But, did she do something else? Are you okay?
Well, actually, she told me that she submitted the divorce papers for Tom and I.
You've got to be kidding me. Why in the world would she do that?
I was going to try and go to the courthouse to fix this mistake, but your wife said it was already too late.
I had no idea this was going on. But I'll try talking to Carmen to get to the bottom of this.
You really have some nerve, do you know that? I know that you went and cried to my husband last night. It's all your fault that he's mad at me now. You really should know better than to mess with your mother-in-law. You think I'm just going to lie here and let you get away with this? I'll teach you a harsh lesson about what you've done.
I don't get it. What did I even do? You're the one throwing me out of the house while I'm so pregnant. Do you really not see at all how you're being bad here too?
I don't really care at all what you think about this situation. The point is that I'm your mother-in-law and you have a duty to do as I say.
Oh, come on. You can't really believe that, right? You're just saying that so you can make me do the work you don't want to. But try and think about the baby that I'm carrying. You're literally kicking me out of the house. You went and filed for me to divorce your son. You're completely out of control right now. You realize this is my first kid, right? I already had enough to worry about without you acting like this. So can you please just leave me alone already?
You really are such a crybaby. Why in the world do you think you got to live in the house? It's because you belong to me, just like the house. You are nothing but an object to me, and if you won't do as I say, then I don't need you.
So you really just don't care at all what happens to me then, is that it?
I care about you doing what I want when I want. Do that for me and I might even start to like you. But if you're just going to talk back and disobey me, then this is the kind of treatment you can expect from me.
Okay, fine then. Be that way. If you really want to play this way, then that's just fine.
Oh no, I'm so scared. Whatever will a nobody like you do to me?
You have no idea how scared you really should be, but I hope you're ready for what I have in store for you.
Oh, of course. I'm just shivering right now thinking about whatever terrible thing it is you have in mind. So why don't you go ahead and give me your best shot, huh? Hey, Owen, are you there? I can't seem to get into the house. What's going on? Why isn't my key working? Did you change the locks or something? Wait a second. This is probably all that damn Tiffany's fault, isn't it?
No, Carmen. Tiffany has nothing to do with this at all.
What do you mean? Then what's going on?
I'm afraid that all of this was by my own doing. I had the locks changed while you were away. You're not going to be able to get into any of those doors with the keys that you have on you now.
I don't understand though. Why would you do something like this to me? How am I supposed to get inside now? And don't think I don't know this isn't all about that little Miss Uppity who I ran out of the house. Are you really going to choose her over your own wife?
Yes. Tiffany told me all about how you wanted to kick her out of our house.
And so what? Who cares what I want to do to her?
Well, I just wanted to let you know that Tiffany isn't going to be the only one moving out. We're moving out too.
I don't get what you're trying to say. This is our home. Why would you leave? Why would you all take Tiffany's side like this?
Look, Carmen, I know the house is yours. I'm not going to fight you on that.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm asking you questions that you're not answering.
And I'm telling you what you need to know. You can have the house. You were the one that wanted a place this huge anyways. Beautiful exterior, a huge backyard that hardly ever gets used, peeling paint on the long empty halls. You insisted on such an expensive house, and have done nothing to take care of it at all.
But wait, if you all leave, then that means I'll be left to pay for the rest of the mortgage.
You're not letting me finish here. The house is already paid off, and the one who did it is Tiffany's father.
You can't be serious about that, right?
No. When she moved in here, he offered to pay off the house since she'd be living with us. He spoke to me about it, and so I transferred the mortgage to his name so that he could pay it off. So while the house may be yours in spirit, legally speaking, it belongs to Tiffany's family.
But why wasn't I informed about any of this at all? How could you just choose to do something that huge and important without telling me first?
I tried to bring it up and mention it to you, but you weren't listening to me at all. But anyways, Tiffany knows all of this, and she knows that you don't have a right to throw her out. So when I meant that we were moving out, I meant you and I.
That can't be right. She wasn't even there for our daughter's wedding, and you're going to give her the house? We should sue her. She can't kick us out of here.
Carmen, the house isn't ours. We don't have a claim to it. If we were sued, the case would be thrown out right away.
No, that can't be right. You don't really mean that.
You know, Tiffany didn't have to let us keep living there after her dad paid the house off. She was doing it out of the kindness of her heart.
And now she's using that kindness to try and throw us out of our own home?
Carmen, do you really think you have any right to be this mad right now? I mean, do you really not know why she's acting like this?
Are you really asking me if I have any idea why she's stabbing her family in the back like this? No, I guess I don't.
Well then, I just don't know what to say. But you should know that Tiffany has been nice enough to get us a hotel room for a few days. Maybe you should go and apologize to her, because things aren't going to look great for you if you don't.
You have got to be kidding me. You can't really expect me to apologize to a woman like that. Owen, are you there? I just wanted to let you know that I'm getting rather sick of living in this hotel and would love to come back home if that's okay with you. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind talking to Tiffany and asking if we can't go back to living in our home.
I already told you, Carmen. If you want to fix this, you're the one that's going to have to go and talk to Tiffany. And then, it's up to Tiffany whether or not she wants to forgive you for what she's done.
Oh, come on. She's still young. She has her life ahead of her, and she's going to hang on to a grudge like this? Don't you see that you've been tricked by her? That's why you're taking her side. You don't realize what you're doing.
Okay. Now you just are being ridiculous, Carmen. I'm not being tricked, and I'm well aware of what I'm doing. None of this is Tiffany's fault at all. Do you understand?
Of course it's all her fault. If it's not her fault, then whose else's fault could it possibly be?
You mean to tell me that you still don't get it? How have you gone this far without blaming yourself for any of this? You're always just trying to say that you're right when you're the problem. You're doing it now. You did it at the wedding. You do it all the time. You're always ignoring whatever Tiffany says to you and trying to give her more orders instead. And now, you've dried up her patience, when she was the one doing kind things for us, and here we are. You're the reason we've lost the house. But why do you care, when it was a house we could barely afford and that you didn't take care of? Instead, you insisted that we buy it, have us up to our necks in debt, and still lost the house in the end.
Man, you're such a crybaby. Do you know that? I didn't realize I married a toddler.
So you're really just going to blow everything I just said off? You're the problem here. You aren't living in the real world. You're only interested in yourself, and you don't care about who you hurt to get what you want. I mean, you were literally trying to make your daughter-in-law work when she could be having your grandchild any day now. You do realize she's pregnant with our grandchild, don't you? Why would you try and put her under so much stress and work her like that?
What is this? What do you know about being pregnant? I was working just as hard as I ever was that day I had our first child.
You really are just delusional. I don't even know what else I can say to you but this. It wasn't Tiffany who should have gotten the divorce. It was us. That much is obvious to me now.
You don't really mean that, do you, Owen?
I'm afraid I do. No matter what I try, you just refuse to listen to anyone but yourself. And I don't want to be attached to you and responsible for you when you go out acting like this. I can't be married to a criminal.
A criminal? Did you really just call me that? And what crime could I have possibly done?
You mean you still haven't figured it out? You do realize that forging signatures on divorce paperwork is illegal, don't you? You committed fraud when you signed those papers for Tiffany and our son. And you committed fraud when you had those papers processed in their names too. I heard that Tiffany's already gone to the police about it too.
There you go. She isn't really part of this family if this is the way that she chooses to act toward her family. Can't you see that she's just heartless?
The only heartless one I can see here is you. But that's exactly why I want the divorce. So that I don't have to be family with you anymore. I'll talk to you when I've gotten all the paperwork ready. Then you can finally sign divorce papers with your own name. What do you think of that?
Please don't do this too. You're not thinking straight, Owen. You're not really going to leave me over this, are you? Owen, answer your messages right now. I'm trying to talk to you. This is all your fault. If you had just been at the wedding like I asked you to be, then none of this would have happened. But now my husband is leaving me and it's all your fault.
I really have no idea what you think you're doing messaging me right now. I've already said all that I have to say to you. What do you think we're going to accomplish doing this?
You think the whole world needed to bend over backwards for you just because you're pregnant? I was just asking for a little help, just a hand in dealing with the wedding, and apparently even that was too big of an ask for you.
You weren't asking for a little help. You were trying to make me plan a whole wedding all by myself. Do you have any idea how my mother died? She was pregnant with my little sister. She died and the doctors were barely able to save my little sister. She was born weeks premature. I was so scared with all the stress and work you were putting me under that the same thing might happen to me. And no matter how many times I told you I couldn't do it or needed help, you refused to listen to me. Instead, you insisted that everything be done your way with no regard for the well-being or of myself or my baby. I don't even know if now you're aware of the damage that you could have done with your recklessness. But I never, ever want to live with you ever again.
Well, you should have talked to me about this. I had no idea this was all going through your head. But instead, you just had to announce that you weren't going to the wedding with no further explanation.
I did explain all of this to you, Carmen. I explained it to you over and over again, and you just didn't listen. If not, this just proves that my words went in one ear and straight out the other for you. You never cared about anything or anyone other than yourself.
You don't honestly think that, do you? You have to know that of course I would have taken your side if you had just explained things to me. Do you have any idea how hard it was for me to break you and my son up despite knowing how much money you got from your late father?
Oh, I know that. Just who do you think paid for your own daughter's wedding? It certainly wasn't you. Owen came to me and told me that you two couldn't afford even the most humble of weddings because of the debt that you had gotten yourselves into. He came to me, hat in hand, and asked if I wouldn't mind helping to fund the wedding.
But you can't be serious. I didn't have any idea about this.
Well, now you do. Your daughter's wedding, your own house, it's all thanks to me and my family that you had either. But then you just had to go off and act the way that you did. And now that everything is falling apart around you, you're just looking for someone to blame. If you want your house back, you can have it. But you'll have to pay me back for what my dad paid.
I don't have that kind of money. Do you really expect a lady at my age to go back to work?
I don't expect you to do anything. After all, you couldn't even really afford to live in this house anyway.
Well, look, if it's money you want, then you should go to my husband for the house and my daughter for the wedding.
You just don't get it. But you'll get what's coming to you soon enough. After that, Owen contacted Carmen about their divorce. He had gotten the divorce papers, signed his half of them, and told her that she had only to sign her half and it could all be finally over. Of course, at the same time that was going on, I was also suing Carmen for her falsified divorce papers. The lawyer that Carmen had hired to try and handle all of these sudden cases advised her to fold on every single one. He told her she didn't have a legal leg to stand on and that it would be cheaper and easier for her to accept the divorce and losses. Carmen pled guilty to forging the signatures and was slapped with a heavy fine to pay me. Carmen was pushed deeper and deeper into a debt that there was no way she was ever going to be able to dig herself out of. I hear that now she lives in a tiny apartment all by herself, working multiple part-time jobs just to make ends meet. As for me, after my lawsuit with Carmen, my marriage status was restored, and about a week after that, I finally gave birth to my child. Once I had dealt with Carmen, it was like a weight had suddenly been lifted off my shoulders. The final week of my pregnancy was a breeze without all the stress that I had been dealing with before. Even the birthing process went so much smoother than I thought it would. It was like I was able to enter a totally peaceful mind state in the euphoria of being freed from Carmen. I still keep in contact with Owen, and he was so happy to finally meet his new grandson. We avoid the topic of Carmen usually, but there is always something else to talk about. In the end, I am just glad that I have a true family around me. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Have you made it home yet?
Not yet.
You're heading there now, right?
Yes, I am.
Remember, if you show up too late, you're gonna be bothering my mom, so make sure you keep that in mind, okay?
Yeah.
What is that attitude? You should be ecstatic. You're gonna be with my mom for over a month. You should be more excited.
Why should I be? I'm literally pregnant right now. Can't believe you're saying what you're saying right now.
What, this again? We already talked about this enough, didn't we? Why do you keep bringing it up?
I'm just saying that most of the time when people go home for their pregnancy, they mean they go home to their wife's parents, not her husband's. You're probably the only person in the world who would send his own wife to his parents' house.
What do you mean, send? I just said things that made perfect sense. You're off work anyway. You should be able to help Mom out. It shouldn't be a problem, right? You're probably bored anyway when you're on maternity leave. Mom is already getting old. You need to start taking care of things around the house. What are you gonna do if something happens to Mom?
Do you understand the intention behind maternity leave? It means that I'm going to be pushing a baby out, so I need to make sure to rest and focus on that. That's already going to be tough pushing out a watermelon. You're trying to make me take care of your own parents, too. I've seriously kind of lost hope in you.
Why are you talking about that now? Mom is already waiting on you. Can you hurry up? Why don't you ever teach her how to cook? You're not that good of a cook anyway. I wish you'd really learn from my mom, you know? I wish I had a wife that was just like my mom. I can't believe a wife that would possibly start throwing a tantrum just because she's gonna have a baby. I really don't understand. And you have the audacity to call yourself my wife?
Just having a baby? I'm thinking that's more audacious than what I'm saying.
What are you talking about? It hasn't even been born yet. You're off for a whole month. You're just gonna do nothing at home anyway. That means you should be helping someone. Besides, you already agreed to the whole thing. Stop complaining. I wanted to go home to my parents' house with you. There's really nothing that beats my mom's handmade cooking.
Then you should go home.
Now stop being like that. I would have gone home if I could have, but I have work to do. It's not like I have a choice. Unlike you, I can't just take off to do nothing by taking maternity leave. It must be nice being a woman. It must be so easy.
I'm seriously getting tired of hearing about you. I don't think I can keep doing this with you. Everything you say has made me feel from bad to worse.
Huh? What are you talking about? What I'm saying right now is pretty common in life. It's not like it's crazy. Literally everyone thinks the same thing I do.
Okay, then why don't you talk to the people around you? You seem to like to say that it's easy to have a child, but it's not like you've ever experienced having a child at all. How could you possibly say that?
My mom already gave birth to kids though. But she didn't take off of her work.
Did you ask her yourself?
No, I didn't ask her, but I'm sure that my mom would never take off like that. She's a really strong and independent woman. So she would never take off just because she needs to give birth.
Okay, sure. If that's what you want to believe, then you can.
Anyway, stop your bitching and moaning, seriously. I'm letting you stay in my parents' house. You better do what you can for my mom. Once you have the baby, I'll be sure to show up and say hey. Good luck!
You don't have to come say hey. Come to think of it, I don't ever want to see you again.
What are you talking about? That's not how you should talk to your husband. Especially considering you're gonna be staying in my parents' house from now on. How could you be like that? You really don't have any kind of thank yous or graciousness?
Nope, not at all. Because I'm not going there.
Huh? You're not?
Nope, I'm definitely not. I'm not going to your parents' house.
But a second ago you said you were.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to my parents' house. You know, not yours?
Huh? What are you talking about? You said you were gonna go home today.
Yeah, I said go home. I never said whose home I would be going to. When I brought up going home from my childbirth, I didn't tell you, but the fact that you tried to send me to your parents' house, it made me think of you as something less than trash. It actually made me think that all the time I spent with you in my life was a waste.
Wait, hang on, that's going too far. What the hell are you talking about? You need to calm down.
I am calm. I've been thinking calmly. And after calmly thinking for the last month, things like you're being a complete spoiled brat taking off just because you're giving birth. Or if you have time to do that, you should take care of my mom. Or you married into the family, so going home to your own parents' house. So stop acting like a spoiled brat. You sound like some shitty husband straight out of a 40s movie. You keep making these statements that show clearly that you're into harassment and somehow in love with your mother still. I've decided to divorce you.
Wait, what? Divorce? What is going on all of a sudden? I didn't hear about this at all. I could never have predicted this would ever have happened.
Yeah, because I kept it from you. But I've already decided. Tried to teach some sense into you and make you understand me, but you really don't listen to me. You just keep pushing your opinion through as if it's the only thing that's right. Honestly, I've just kind of felt like it's enough.
What's enough? It's not enough. So, you're not gonna be going home then?
I said I am. I'm going to my own home. I already told Mom that you'd be going home. I know that she's getting ready for you.
Well, this is the absolute worst. Why would you do such a thing? You could have at least tried to talk to me about it.
Tried to talk to you? I've literally told you about what I thought numerous times. You were the one that continued to completely ignore me.
I didn't mean to.
It's also kind of interesting that I'm over here telling you that I want a divorce, and you're over here worried about what your mom is doing to get ready.
I'm sure you're just messing around with the divorce, right? You're just doing this whole thing to make me apologize to you, right? I already know what you're thinking.
You seriously don't understand, do you? You'll understand once you get home. I already have all the divorce papers filled out.
What? Are you being serious right now?
Also, I talked to your mom already. I just went ahead and called her just now. I didn't want her to think that I would be going today. You're a terrible husband with a really bad mommy complex, but Mom wasn't really a bad person or anything.
What are you talking about, being terrible husband with a mommy complex? You should seriously watch your tone when you talk to people.
You realize that she was apologizing, right?
Huh?
She said that she raised you wrong. Sorry for raising such a stupid son.
What? Why?
Apparently Mom thought that I couldn't go home to my parents because they were too far. That's why she thought I was going to her house. She said I didn't have to do any of the things around the house. She said that she was getting things ready so that I would be able to prepare it and get ready for the baby. Because, you know, you said that I would be going to her house. All without me agreeing with you. She got everything all ready. It's literally your fault she wasted her time.
That's what Mom said? But why? It's just childbirth.
Just childbirth? Are you stupid? No, seriously, answer the question. Are you dumb? It's literally one human being pushed out of another human being. You could never do it in your entire life. Can you stop pretending like your little story about how childbirth is easy is true? Mom was even agreeing with me. She's a seriously tough mother-in-law, but she even told me that after I gave birth, I didn't have to do anything. She was totally fine with doing everything for me. She said that she felt really bad for not being able to teach you anything. And that the divorce makes complete sense so she can't argue with me. She literally agreed with me.
Are you serious? I didn't know that. Fine. Maybe, just maybe I was wrong this time. So please just go to my parents' home. I'll head over tonight right away. Let's talk there.
No, I'm not going there. This whole thing about childbirth was one thing, but for the month that you found out about my maternity leave, you never stopped to listen to my opinion. I was seriously at a loss for words at your actions. I'm supposed to raise a child from now on. I couldn't do it with you. I really, truly do believe that now.
Hang on. Are you being dead serious about the divorce thing right now? This isn't some kind of performance?
What are you talking about, performance? I'm going to be a mom now. I figured I would just let go of things I don't need.
Things I don't need? That's way too rude. I was excited for the baby food too.
You were excited for the baby. You were the one saying that I shouldn't be a spoiled brat just because I'm having a baby. You're a piece of shit that has no idea how stressed I was.
I'm sorry about that. I wasn't being considerate enough of your feelings.
That's very true. I think that you'll be able to pay for the child support from now on. You can support the both of us that way.
You serious? Are you seriously gonna divorce me? You not gonna be living with me?
I'm not going to be living with you. You literally ignored me for an entire month. You should have caught on way sooner, bub. It's way too late now. I'm already at my parents' house. I've already talked about everything to my parents. Why don't you get lectured by your own mother? You seem to only care about your mom. And her opinions anyways. Alright, good luck on your own. Just because you're working doesn't mean you're allowed to be a spoiled brat. Afterwards, Mark received a call from his mother at home, and he was lectured for a good 3 hours about everything and about how difficult labor can be. Mark probably cannot comprehend how badly it hurts. Afterwards, he kept contacting her to repair things and live with her. It was non-stop calls and texts, but Joanna just hung out at her house. She also gave birth to a really healthy young baby boy. He agreed to pay for all the child support later on, so eventually he'll be able to see his son. However, she decided that she would keep her distance for a while.